Have you ever trusted someone so deeply that when they betrayed you, it completely changed the way you think, feel, and see people forever? Not just heartbreak, not just disappointment. I mean the kind of betrayal that silently changes your personality, your habits, your emotional reactions, even the way you look at people's eyes when they talk to you. Because the painful truth is this: the people who hurt us the most are usually the people we trusted the most. And sometimes, betrayal doesn't destroy you. Sometimes, it awakens your intelligence. Before we continue, subscribe to Psychotherapy for deep psychological truths, emotional healing, and powerful life lessons that help you become mentally stronger every single day. And stay until the end, because sign number 10 is the moment most people finally realize they are no longer the same person they used to be. Sign number 1. You stop trusting words so easily. After betrayal, your brain changes in ways most people never understand. Before, you believed promises. You trusted emotional conversations. You thought honesty was natural for everyone. But after someone breaks your trust, your mind becomes more alert. Now you pay attention to patterns, consistency, behavior, effort, energy. Because emotionally intelligent people understand something painful. Words are easy. Patterns reveal the truth. You start noticing when someone's actions don't match their promises. You notice fake concern, forced affection, manipulative apologies. And while this awareness feels uncomfortable at first, it slowly becomes your protection. Psychologists explain that betrayal activates survival instincts inside the brain. Your mind begins scanning for emotional danger automatically. That's why people often become more careful after emotional pain. Not because they became cruel, because their brain is trying to protect them from future damage. And honestly, that awareness changes everything. Sign number 2, you become more observant. Pain sharpens awareness. Before betrayal, many people ignore red flags because they want to believe the best in others. But emotional pain removes emotional blindness. Suddenly you notice energy shifts, changes in tone, body language, fake smiles, hidden disrespect. You start understanding human behavior on a deeper level. And the strange thing is, most emotionally intelligent people develop that intelligence through painful experiences. Pain forced them to pay attention. Pain trained their mind to observe more carefully. You begin realizing that people often reveal their true intentions in small moments. The way they react to your success, the way they disappear during difficult times, the way they only contact you when they need something. These small details become impossible to ignore once betrayal wakes your mind up. And maybe that's exactly what happened to you. Maybe your pain forced you to finally see clearly. Sign number 3. You value peace more than attention. This is one of the biggest emotional shifts after betrayal. Before, you may have chased explanations, closure, validation. You wanted people to understand your feelings. You wanted honesty. You wanted reassurance. But after emotional exhaustion changes you, peace becomes more valuable than attention. You stop begging people to understand your worth. You stop forcing conversations with emotionally unavailable people. You stop fighting for connections that constantly drain your energy. Because intelligence teaches you something powerful. Protecting your peace is more important than winning emotional battles. And this lesson changes relationships forever. You no longer tolerate chaos just because you love someone. You no longer sacrifice your mental health trying to keep toxic people comfortable. You realize that love should not constantly feel like emotional survival. That realization alone changes lives. Sign number 4. You learn that not everyone deserves access to you. This lesson is painful, but necessary. Betrayal teaches boundaries. You begin understanding that emotional access is a privilege. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your heart, your mind, your vulnerability, or your energy. Before betrayal, many people give too much too quickly. Too much trust, too much loyalty, too much emotional availability. But pain changes that. You become more selective, more careful, more emotionally disciplined. Not because you became cold, because you finally understand your worth. And honestly, emotionally intelligent people know something most others ignore. Kindness without boundaries becomes self-destruction. That's why healed people eventually stop over-explaining themselves. They stop trying to save everyone. They stop giving endless chances to people who repeatedly disrespect them. Because maturity teaches you that protecting yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. Sign number 5. Your intuition becomes stronger. After betrayal, your intuition changes dramatically. You begin sensing emotional danger earlier. Sometimes you notice fake energy immediately. Sometimes you can feel emotional distance before someone says a single word. And while some people call this overthinking, psychology often explains it differently. The brain adapts after painful emotional experiences. It becomes more alert to patterns connected to previous pain. Your instincts sharpen because your mind remembers what betrayal felt like. That's why emotionally hurt people often become deeply intuitive. You start noticing inconsistency faster. You notice when someone's behavior suddenly changes. You notice manipulation hidden behind kindness. You notice emotional dishonesty. And honestly, this intuition becomes one of your greatest strengths. Because once someone teaches your heart what deception feels like, your mind rarely forgets it completely. Sign number 6. You stop explaining yourself to everyone. One of the strongest signs of emotional intelligence is silence. Not weak silence, powerful silence. After betrayal, you begin realizing something important. Not everyone deserves access to your explanations. Some people misunderstand you intentionally. Some people only listen so they can defend themselves. Some people never plan to understand your feelings in the first place. And eventually, you become tired of wasting emotional energy trying to prove your pain to people who caused it. So you become quieter, calmer, more emotionally controlled. And strangely, this silence often confuses toxic people the most, because manipulative people usually depend on emotional reactions, arguments, attention, emotional access. But once you emotionally detach, their control weakens. And that emotional detachment changes your entire personality. You stop reacting instantly. You think before responding. You become emotionally disciplined. That is intelligence born from pain. Sign number 7. You finally see people for who they really are. Betrayal destroys illusions. Not just relationships, illusions. The illusion that everyone loves the way you love. The illusion that loyalty automatically means mutual respect. The illusion that kindness guarantees honesty. And honestly, this realization hurts deeply, because many people spend years believing others have the same heart they do. But betrayal reveals something uncomfortable. Some people only love your usefulness. Some people only value your attention. Some people enjoy your loyalty while secretly disrespecting you. And once your mind sees that reality clearly, you can never fully become emotionally blind again. Your standards change forever. You stop chasing emotionally confusing people. You stop tolerating disrespect disguised as love. You stop ignoring your intuition just to avoid loneliness. Because emotionally intelligent people understand this deeply. Being alone is painful sometimes, but feeling emotionally unsafe around the wrong people is even worse. Sign number 8. You become emotionally independent. One painful betrayal can completely transform emotional dependence. Before pain changes you, you may depend heavily on others for reassurance, validation, comfort, or emotional stability. But healing teaches something different. You learn how to comfort yourself, how to survive emotionally on difficult days, how to calm your own mind, how to heal without constant validation from others. And this transformation is powerful, because emotionally independent people are harder to manipulate. They no longer fear loneliness the same way. They no longer stay in toxic relationships just because they fear abandonment. They begin choosing peace over attachment, and that shift changes everything. Psychologists often explain that emotional independence creates stronger self-respect, because once someone learns how to emotionally survive alone, they stop tolerating situations that destroy their mental peace. And honestly, that may be one of the healthiest transformations betrayal can create. Sign number 9. You start choosing logic over emotion. Before betrayal, emotions may have controlled many of your decisions. You ignored red flags because of love. You tolerated disrespect because of attachment. You stayed too long because of hope. You defended people who repeatedly hurt you, because emotional attachment can blind people psychologically. But pain changes that. Now your mind protects your heart too. You analyze behavior more carefully. You pay attention to effort, consistency, honesty, respect. You stop falling for empty words alone. And while your heart still feels deeply, logic finally joins the conversation. That balance creates emotional intelligence, not becoming emotionless, becoming emotionally aware. There is a huge difference. Wise people still feel emotions deeply. They simply stop allowing emotions to control every decision. And honestly, this lesson often takes years for people to learn. Sometimes betrayal teaches it in one painful moment. Sign number 10. You realize the betrayal actually transformed you. This is the moment everything finally makes sense. You realize the pain didn't just hurt you, It awakened you. It made you wiser, stronger, more aware, more emotionally intelligent, and maybe the person who broke your trust never expected this version of you to appear. The calmer version, the stronger version, the emotionally disciplined version, the version that no longer ignores reality. Sometimes pain becomes the teacher comfort could never be, because comfort keeps people emotionally asleep. Pain forces awareness. Pain forces growth. Pain forces transformation. Some of the wisest people you will ever meet were once emotionally broken. That's why many emotionally intelligent people seem quieter. They've seen too much, felt too much, learned too much about human behavior. And maybe this painful chapter in your life is not destroying you either. Maybe it is transforming you into someone stronger than you ever imagined. So if you're healing from betrayal right now, remember this carefully. Their actions revealed their character, not your worth. And maybe one day, you will look back at this painful chapter and realize something surprising. The betrayal that nearly broke you actually awakened the strongest version of yourself. If this video connected with you deeply, comment the word awakened below. I read every comment carefully, and your story may help someone else feel less alone. And if someone you care about is struggling emotionally right now, share this video with them. Sometimes one message can completely change the way someone sees their pain. Subscribe to Psychotherapy for more deep emotional truths, psychological lessons, and healing videos that help you become mentally stronger every single day. And remember, some betrayals don't destroy you. They introduce you to the strongest version of yourself.